Yeah. So it's a single word. Single word. So yogaha arudaha yasya saha. So there is a samasa there. So the one who has climbed the yoga, one who has gained the yoga is called a yoga arudaha. In this case, dhyana yoga. And dhyana, even more stronger than that, dhyana, we said jnani. So that person is equated to a wise person also. So that is a yoga arudaha. Yeah. Gokul, I saw.
Okay, Kunal.
Yeah, Gokul Kunnad. You had a question?
Girish.
Ah, Girish, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, will you
I
please
have
explain?
there is a friend called Gokul Kunnath also, and so suddenly that G became from Girish. It went to Gokul.
I just wanted to know the definition Veda, Vedanta, Dvaita, Advaita. And I think there is one I happen to Vishesh Advaita or something like that. Will you please
Yeah,
explain?
yeah. So Veda is the corpus of four Vedas. So Yajurveda, so Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. This is how Veda Vyasa has split all the mantras that our rishis gave us, and
Okay.
which we now call it as Chaturvedaha or Vedaha. That is Veda, not written by a human being. It's all given to us by rishis, and so we call this as Shruti. And then within the Vedas, you have Upanishads, and you have Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and then Upanishads are strewn in between the Vedas. And which Upanishads, what we are studying here to a large extent is what is called Upanishads. Okay,
Okay.
because Vedas have a lot to talk about dharma, lot to talk about rituals, and what various kinds of things you can do, you can get by doing various kinds of rituals, various kinds of homas, various kinds of yagas. So Ashwamedha Yajna means described very well in the Vedas. And so somebody who wants power and wealth, etc., can do that. Somebody who wants to go to heaven can do that. Do all these kinds of rituals are given. So a lot of rituals are given. And then dharma talked about a lot. And then little bit of Upanishad, small section, Upanishad, and
Okay.
which talks about this reality of Atma, okay, which is what we are studying. It is called Vedanta. And therefore, any book that we study, whether it is Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita, which is not part of Veda, part of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is not part of Veda. Mahabharata is Smriti. It's written by Veda Vyasa, but not part of Veda. And Bhagavad Gita is part of that. And Bhagavad Gita talks about the same thing the Upanishads talk about. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is also called Vedanta. Upanishad called Vedanta. Upanishads are called Vedanta. Their Vedanta, why it is called? Because often the position of this Upanishad, position, the location where it comes in the Veda is towards the end of the Veda.
Okay.
As a general rule, not all Upanishads are like that, but as a general rule. Therefore, called Vedanam Antaha Vedanta. Okay, therefore Vedanta. Then,
Okay.
therefore, Bhagavad Gita, same topic, therefore also called Vedanta. So, therefore, if we study, so Upadesha Sahasri of Shankaracharya, that is also Vedanta. And all the text, Dakshinamurti Stotram, when we study, that is also Vedanta. So, all that comes under the category of Vedanta, which talks about the fundamental nature of the self, fundamental nature of Bhagavan, fundamental nature of the world, and talks about the Mahavakyam. Mahavakya means what? The essential identity between Jiva and Ishvara. That is Mahavakya. This is called Vedanta. Now, so the identity means what? There is a lot of Dvaita in this world. The world is all Dvaita only. Duality. Everything is different from everybody else. Everybody else is different. All things are different. The whole world has so many things. Okay. And uncountable. And so Dvaita, very obvious, it is Dvaita. And when The scientists are looking for the fundamental particle. They are looking for what? They are looking for Advaita. They are saying that all these the different things are fine, but you don't try to fool us. It's all just atoms and atoms and atoms. The same electron is there, same proton is there, same neutron is there. But then they're saying no, even the electron, proton, and neutron, is there something fundamental to these particles? That is what the entire study of physics is driving towards. And that is what
Agree.
our rishis have said, that that fundamental thing that you call particle, quark, or whatever, we have already figured out. It's called consciousness. If you want to use an English word, it's called consciousness. We use the word atma, we use the word brahma for it. And who is that? Well, show me that particle. If you say, that's pretty simple. Who are you? You are that. I am that means what? Yes, I am that. And so that consciousness is I, and there is no need to show you. You are, you exist. That means you are that. Okay. This is called Advaita. So Dvaita is duality. Dvaita is already there. But if you want to make sense out of the Dvaita, you have to come to Advaita. Correct?
Yes.
This is what we say. So Dvaita. So the Dvaitavadi says this world is real, Satyam, absolutely real. There
Okay.
is no fundamental reality to this world. The world is as real as it is. I am as real as I am. God is as real as he is, she is. Correct?
Correct.
And you have to gain moksha. What is moksha? You have to go and be with God. That is moksha. That is Dvaita. Vishishta Advaita also like this, except the difference is I am not different from God. I am part of God. I am part of God is too big. This whole universe is Bhagavan, and therefore I can only be a small part of Bhagavan. I can be an amoeba in the stomach, like that. I am a part of Bhagavan, and then by doing this prapatti, surrender, and prarthana, then I can go to Vaikuntha. I can reach heaven, and I can be with Narayana. That is
Okay.
moksha. Correct? That is moksha. Moksha after death. There also moksha after death. Then Advaita is not moksha after death, Jivan Mukti. Means while alive itself, moksha is possible. We saw the
Okay.
reasons for all of that. Whereas there is no Jivan Mukti. Why no Jivan Mukti? Because Mukti is always after death only. You got to
Okay.
go to heaven, only then it's moksha. Here, what we say is moksha, and heaven is anityam. Heaven is there. We are not, see, that's why we don't have problem with Vishishta Advaita. We don't have a problem with Dvaita. It's all there. Everything you say is true. But we say that is anityam, that heaven is anityam. If you say Narayana is sitting in heaven, that Narayana also is anityam
Okay.
because he has a body and no body is nityam. Correct? This
Correct.
becomes
Correct.
Advaita. This becomes Advaita. That is why Krishna also. Krishna has a body and then the body has to go. Avatara has to go. We don't have a problem with that. Avatara. That's why Krishna is Avatara. So, this is how we explain these things, Girishji. Is that somewhat clear?
Very, very well said. Very clear. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Sri Kumarji, since
Yeah.
the topic has come, I just these are all the three are part of Vedanta. So the question is, I believe anyway, the reconciliation of all these three. In spite of that, the philosophies seems to be different, right? So you can still say that we can reconcile all the three. Is that correct statement? Or
So, when you say reconcile all the three, you can reconcile up to a majority can reconcile. Suppose I say Jivan Mukti is possible. They say Jivan Mukti is not possible because you have to die to get moksha. I say no, I don't have to die to get moksha. How are you going to reconcile these two? How? Tell me how to reconcile this. Certain areas reconciliation is not possible. Okay. In fact, this Dhyana Yoga is there. A famous speaker, okay, and Vaishnava. Famous speaker says, just 2 years ago, I heard him on TV, and he says, I don't understand why they do dhyana. This is what he said. Very famous man. So dhyana is meaningless. Why dhyana? When you are going to get moksha and you are going to go to heaven, because you are a bhakta, you're a Narayana bhakta. Why should you do dhyana? Please tell me. They don't even agree with dhyanam and all that. Dhyanam has no place in their life. I'm not generalizing about Vaishnavas. This person, if that all Vaishnavas are listening to, said this. And that's when I became wiser when I heard it. I said, oh, this is the way they think. And so, for us, we have reconciled because for us, the Swarga is Anityam. It's all reconciled. In the Advaiti's mind, it's all reconciled. But certain things they won't accept. Jivan Mukti is not there. Going to heaven is final. And we say Agama Pai. Going to heaven is Agama Pai. If you go somewhere, you have to, that going itself is a part of time. Time is given for them. Time is Satyam. I'm saying, where time is Satyam? In deep sleep, you are saying no to time. Every day you are saying no to time. How can time be Satyam? For them, time is Satyam. Space is Satyam. Correct? Space is Satyam because heaven. This is earth. This means space is given. And heaven is there somewhere else. You are going to go to heaven. The space is given. I'm saying space is also not there. In deep sleep, you have no space. You are creating your own space in dreams. And so even a physicist cannot accept that space is Satyam. Correct? Even a quantum physicist cannot accept. He is going to say, no, space is expanding, he will say. Space is not fixed, it's not given, he will say. So there are certain, so therefore the Advaiti has no problem understanding all philosophies. Really no problem. You think about it. I'm not just boasting because no, not like you think about it. You think about it. Vishishta Advaiti has a problem with all these things. Somebody wrote in Facebook to that person. One of my friends wrote, "No, how can you say this? This is Anityam." You know what he responds? My Guruji told me like this. This is how we teach. This is how he says. I can't answer like that. I can't say Swami told me that's why this is true. I can't say like that. I gotta get it in my head first. I gotta figure it out. Only then I can teach. I can't say Swami said it, therefore it is true. I can't say all that. We don't say all those things. And Swami will slap me. If he hears this, he will just wonder, what is this? What I taught all these guys, that's what he will say. So therefore, that's why we say Advaita reconciles everything. And the Satyam Nitya is such an important thing. And if Nitya is not understood, everything is Satyam. Correct? Everything is Satyam. And everything Satyam means you got to develop your own philosophy and you want to escape this world. This is all escaping the world. This is how I look at it. You can't be happy here. Your final happiness is out there. I cannot accept that. For me, it won't work for me. You tell me how to be happy here, then only I'm interested in this. You tell me after death you'll be happy and all. That won't work for me. People like me, it won't work. So that's how we look at it, Prasad. And therefore, reconciliation, don't expect complete reconciliation. How do you reconcile Advaita with Buddhism? You don't reconcile. How it will reconcile? One is Shunya, another is Purna. So everything else we reconcile. Buddhism is great in terms of practices and all that. Amazing. They have mastered it. And it's a final point. It's where we disagree with that. So
Sunya also, I heard like Sunya is also to be taken as Purna in some other aspect, like example of gold, the ornaments versus gold. So you can, in other words, we can say in a different way that it is, the Purna is equal to Sunya, but Sunya has been considered like nothingness, right? That's a problem, it seems.
If Shunya is defined as nothingness, then
That's a problem. Yes.
that's a problem. Yeah. If Shunya is defined as Purna, I like to see that thesis. Then you are talking Vedanta, basically. Good. Yeah, Sri Vidya.
Guruji, I now I heard somewhere that for the starters who doesn't know anything about Advaita, for the starters they are basically Visishtadvaitis and Dvaitis first in the initial stages, and then when you understand fully the Advaitic philosophy, you become an Advaitic. Is it right?
Yeah, so good point. Sri Vidyaji brings up a good point. So all of us were Dvaitis. All of us are Dvaitis, all of us are Vishishtadvaitis only. Because bhakti is not possible without a division between Jiva and Ishvara. Correct? So Bhagavan is there. We celebrate Ganapati. Ganapati Bappa Maurya we can celebrate because Ganapati is somebody who is there, who protects this world. And so we pray to Ganapati. Prayer itself is not possible without a Dvaita Buddhi. Correct? Prayer is not possible because I am praying to somebody. Who that too is somebody different from me only. I can't pray to myself. So two is there. Therefore, Dvaita is always there. Correct. And so some people say, like what you have said, which is that Vishishta Advaita, etc., is a stepping stone to Advaita. Some people say that. Now, I won't make that statement in front of a Vishishta Advaita. It's not correct to say that. Oh, very nice. You are coming towards us. If I say, how will it? It's like a slap on the face. No, we shouldn't say that. Hey, everybody is be happy with what you are, and if it helps you, go for it. We definitely don't want to put down anybody, but we must be clear here in our head. Yeah, good
But
point.
also there is a point in which the highest point of Visishtadvaitam, who has understood it fully, hasn't doesn't speak of Visishtadvaitam as his philosophy, uh, because he has understood everything and he doesn't need to, and he hasn't told, and he there is no need to tell anything to the world. Even so, for
And
our Advaitis also, who has understood everything, they don't tell anything. We understand that this is the position of an Advaiti who has understood everything. We think of them as this man.
yeah, true. So one who knows will not say I know, etc. All these ideas won't be there. And back to your original question, the friend of mine who introduced me to Swamiji is a Vaishnava. So later on, I used to have a discussion. Hey, what is this? Swamiji, your philosophy and this Swamiji's philosophy are different. Vaishnava, so that is Vaishishta, that is stepping stone for Advaita. That he said. So he accepts that because he himself, he says that. So that's how we that means there are some Vaishnavas who heard it and who seem to think that that bhakti and all is so important, prapatti is so important, surrender is so important. Otherwise, all this will not work. And so we cannot reject anything. We cannot afford to reject anything. So we were, as you have already said, we are Vaishnavas, and then appreciating this Advaita. Very true. Very true. Good discussion. Anything else?
Actually, I have the question on Bhagavad Gita side. After looking at the Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi, I'm actually thinking of the fifth chapter description and sixth chapter description in the beginning. I think probably some confusion has happened, so I wanted to clear that. That is, when he said in fifth chapter, Karma Yogi is a kind of sannyasi, right? In fifth chapter also he described it. So that is in terms of like sannyasi is not a complete sannyasi, Karma Yogi, but has the quality of a sannyasi in terms of his renunciation of the ragadveshas. Right? Now, when it comes to sixth chapter, when we talk about the sankalpa, which is basically desirability, he says that both sannyasi and karma yogi have to give up sankalpas, because yogi is a kind of sannyasi. That's why he said yogi is a kind of sannyasi. So both the definitions he made like yogi as part of sannyasi, fifth chapter and sixth chapter. Now, when karma yogi renounced all sankalpas, basically by giving up ragadveshas. In the earlier chapter also, it was basically the ragadveshas only, renunciation of ragadveshas. Now, sannyasi does this by giving up the notion of doership through knowledge. But now when it comes to sarva sankalpa sannyasi, it said that who has renounced the cause of all desires. So in other words, the ragadveshas in fifth chapter, but even sankalpa also basically renouncing the ragadveshas. Now when it comes to sarva sankalpa sannyasi, it's again given as renouncing the cause of all desires, which is sankalpa, right? So my confusion is like, okay, it's basically the ragadveshas at the end point. What is that he's trying to say, Krishna saying in sixth chapter, saying sankalpas? Is it that sankalpas also like I add into the arsenal of karma yogi, like prasada buddhi, ishwararpana buddhi, ishvara as dharma, and also sankalpas to be part of that karma yogi? Hope I'm clear.
Yeah, so it is not that we have to add one more thing to the arsenal. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's a restatement of what we've already studied. Okay. So it's just a different word. Sankalpa is being used here. Sankalpa. So, so here, as how did Shankara define Sankalpa sannyasi? He says, so iha amutrartha, kama hetu. Same thing, kama hetu, desire of causes, etc., which can be any kind of desire, either in this world or the other worlds. And so, finally, the cause of desire is what? What is the cause of desire? When we say desire, remember, this is a desire to fulfill my artha or kama or dharma. Correct? That is what is a desire.
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, what is the cause of what is the cause of that desire? Ajnanam is the cause of the desire. I will become better if I do this, if I say. That means Ajnanam is there. Correct? Because Atma is full and nobody can better the Atma that I already am. And therefore, we can even say Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi is one who is a Jnani. Only by knowledge that Sankalpa can be given up completely. And that's why in this shloka, he is highlighting that. And yoga, the karma yogi, and sannyasa was almost equated in the first two shlokas. Tam sannyasam yogamiti prahu, tam yogam sannyasam iti prahu. He says. So there he's connecting karma yoga to dhyana. Connecting. So he's bringing the connection, and therefore he says karma yoga is not unconnected from dhyana yoga and jnana yoga. Not unconnected, it's all connected. That's the idea here. That's why he emphasizes karma yoga and almost equates it to sannyasa. But since in the third chapter is already said, Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta, and karma yoga and jnana yoga was already mentioned there, we understand that they are different. Shankara says at one point, they are different because one is an ajnani, another is a jnani. And the ajnani and jnani cannot be equal. You cannot equate the two. Either I know or I don't know. And if I don't know, I am a karma yogi. If I know, I am a jnani. That is how he says in one place. Therefore, they are different. Therefore, we can put everything under karma yoga. Even dhyana can be put under karma yoga. And In Ashtanga Yoga, a little different. Maybe Yama, Niyama, etc. can be put under Karma Yoga. For them, Dhyanam is almost an end. Dhyanam and Samadhi are end. And so they become more goals rather than means. So I don't think, back to your question, no, we don't need to add anything new to your arsenal, to use your own word. Correct?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jayamani.
Namaskara.